What's going on? Nice, got a bunch of people here. Cool, good deal. Sorry, I was getting a little creative, so I get a little behind. But um, basically, I want to go over just a couple things, and then we're going to bring on some guys from the other clubs, talk about the event, and this should be a good one. We have got a bit of cool stuff. Thanks to everyone's help on it. Bring Ben up. Whoops, shared the wrong one. Oh, there we go. Oops. All right, cool. And good group of people here. Sweet. No, we don't do the countdown. We'll make you listen to the bad rock and roll music they have. That's it. Yeah, it was a couple minutes late. I was trying to get that graphic at the bottom there done. It took me a second. So, all right, cool. So the battle on the boards this weekend. If you guys obviously know, should be a really good event. We got Vance County on board again this year. Carolina Paddle Sport Outfitters provided a kayak for the winter last year, and they've got on board this year again as a sponsor. No kayak to give away, but they helped us boost out the payouts, so appreciate that. Excuse me. And we got 6 clubs we're working with. We got Virginia Kayak Anglers Elite, Bass Cast, and Virginia Kayak Trail, all from up in Virginia. And we have new addition this year, another new addition this year. Foothills is hopped on board, and we got CKA obviously, and Central Carolina Kayak Fishing. So um, some of the best clubs on the East Coast, some of the best looking anglers on the East Coast, and it's going to be another fun event. And we got let's see here, 22 anglers signed up already. That's good. Getting there. Hopefully, we can get it up a lot bigger, but people probably waiting to look at the weather. It's going to rain, so be ready for that. But it's not going to be that bad. I don't think. I think it's going to be a light rain probably all day. The wind doesn't look bad. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good event. We did schedule this so it doesn't fall on the big, I think it's ABA event that was usually there when we were there. So we don't have those guys to battle against, which is good. But we do have $1,200 added payouts thanks to those 2 sponsors I mentioned, plus all the clubs. So um, that went right into the payouts. And then there's also the trophies were taken care of, and so there's nothing being taken out of the payouts other than there's I think a $2 or $3 uh, credit card fee we had to pull out, but other than that, it's all added money. So really good deal. Thanks to the clubs for that. Not going to go over all the rules and stuff. I'm going to do that tomorrow night. Um, I just wanted to touch on a couple little things like the big bass bonus. People ask me about it's $25, and if we sell over 20 tickets, it'll be two places we pay out, and if we get over 30 tickets sold for that, we will do a 50-30-20 split. So that's how that'll work. So we get more chances to get some cash in your pocket. And we will do the meetup at Henderson Point Community Building again. So thanks to Vance County for providing that. They provided that last year too, which worked out really, really well. And if it's going to be raining, which hopefully it'll be done raining by then, but if not, at least we'll have a nice place to meet up and do awards. So there's also the other thing was Virginia Kayak Anglers Elite has a $100 bounty for the non-bass. So I'll just give a heads up on that with the additional boards you can use for those larger fish. If you catch a, 38-inch striper or what it's a striper, but I guess you could get a striper there that big. That would be interesting. Catfish or whatever. So you can use the bigger boards for that photo. But we will still have the normal boards that we approve for the bass stuff, which is the catch boards and the hog trough. So just keep those things in mind. All right. So with that little stuff out of the way, let me bring on these guys. Let me get rid of the screen. What's going on? All right.
I have to start by saying I like your choice of headwear, Eric.
It's nice, isn't it? I keep meaning to get those kayak guys on the team to sign my hat. But there you go. If you throw a rock that way, you can hit NC State from where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
All right. So while we do this, we'll start off with Cody. You want to introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about Foothills?
Yeah, I'm Cody. Some of you guys know who I am. I've been running Foothills for this will be our, I guess, 2.5 year point right now. We're just wrapped up our season last weekend, and Austin Vang ended up being our AOI winner. Pretty much put everybody away about two events ago, but so we just wrapped that up. We're gonna have our Tournament of Champions here on November the 11th, and we drew for that lake last night, and we're going to Mountain Island Lake, which is it's below Norman, in between Wiley, and we got 14 anglers that we brought this year. We done a top 10, and then we rolled down a few. If a winner was in the top 10, we rolled down that many spots, and obviously if you win, you're in. So we ended up with 14 anglers who are going to battle here in a month or so on Mountain Island Lake for our first ever really TOC tournament. We ran some boat ramp stuff our first year, and then last year was our first real full season that we ran everything exclusively through Tourney X. And so this was our second, I guess you could say our second full year. And it's been fun. It's been an interesting year. Seems like it went by quick. But that's pretty much my spiel.
Nice. Good deal. Bring on Mr. Mitch now. Let's see here. There you go, Mitch. The floor is yours.
I think everybody, at least most of the North Carolina guys, know me. So I run Central Carolina kayak fishing out of the Raleigh area, and we had, if we're talking about our angler of the year, was Mr. Hank Vajon this year, and it was a very close race with another North Carolina angler that's on fire, Will Lambert. And it turns out we just had our end of year tournament this past Saturday, and Will ended up winning that. So Will took second place in AOI and took first place in the Clash of the Titans tournament. And I can't remember. I think Hank might have been seventh in the Clash tournament. Can't remember. He was up there somewhere. But Hank's had a few health problems lately. In his acceptance speech for AOI, he said he sacrificed his health to win the AOI. So that's what we expect of all the North Carolina anglers this weekend at Carr Lake, or at Bugs Island. So
nice. All right. What's up, Joe? I'll give you the floor here. Introduce yourself and your club.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me all right? I'm on my phone.
Yes. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so I'm Joe. I'm I'm the tournament director for Virginia Kayak Anglers Elite. We're a new club in Virginia. I guess we claim part of the Northern Virginia area, but we are kind of the southern end of it, of the whole kind of. So we're not in DC, but we're kind of south of there. But we do kind of incorporate all of the waters on the Potomac. We are the multi-species club that's associated with Battle of the Border this year. So we're looking forward to partnering with all you guys. We're a new club. We just started this year. This was our first time having. We actually held a Snakehead Trail series. We did 4 tournaments with a classic at the end. So it went off pretty well. We grew to about 55 club members right out the gate, where we averaged about, 26 to 30 sometimes in our tournaments. So we did pretty well, and we were really excited to just kind of be part of all of you guys' things you got going on. So putting in for the multi-species kind of pot, talking with Hank and everybody, saying that you can catch some other stuff while you're bass fishing on Kerr Lake. We just thought it was a good idea. We'll just throw down a little bit of money and see if whoever catches the longest whatever fish that's not a black bass, and just have some fun with it. So us being a multi-species club, we felt right into that groove. So happy to be with you guys. About half of us are all bass anglers as well in the club. We fish out of the NVKBA club here in Northern Virginia. But VKAE is a whole separate club that just focuses on multi-species, non-bass species.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much us.
Awesome, man. Good deal. All right. So see if
Got to get you a Cashin's hat.
yeah, I'm gonna set him up a cashing hat.
I tell you what, I have about $2,000 invested in cash and rods. You think I would have a hat on?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be sending you a hat for sure.
I think they should give you a hat.
They
Yeah.
should. I have the T-shirt, but I don't have the hat. Yeah.
I'll have to get a hold of Matt and tell him, ask him what the heck's going on. Get you a hat. Oh man. So what's your prediction?
What do you expect to catch there, multi-species at Bugs Island?
Oh man, I know I caught some big drum there.
Drum? Really?
Yeah.
Big catfish, big, fairly big striper in there, I think.
Yeah.
It's
I marked some big striper over in the area that I like to fish, and if they weren't striper, they were some monster friggin' bass, but they could have been catfish too. But I was pretty sure they were striper from what I could see. But yeah, there's some interesting fish in there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure. I've never fished it, so this is going to be my first time just going out there and fish. I'm not going to be targeting multi-species, but if I hang into something, I assume it's going to be either a striper or a catfish.
Yeah. The drum will break your heart because you'll think you got a huge bass on, and then you're like, oh man, come on.
I'm assuming there's bowfin mudfish in there as well.
Probably up in the creeks, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It's an interesting lake. It's there's obviously plenty of room for kayaks, but the different types of every place I've gone in pre-fish has been almost completely different. It's interesting when Grassy Creek has its own characteristics, and what's the other one where Nutbush is, whatever that creek is, I forget. That one's interesting. And I fished a lot some of the main lake areas, and those are a little bit different too. And just ran into some cool stuff out there too that bass boats can't get into. So it's
I wonder if the water is, Jordan here, the water's down about 4 feet from full pull. It might even be lower by now. So I wonder how Carr is. That it feeds Gaston, and they rarely.
I looked at the levels. I look at the levels on the lake, and it looks like it's around the same or maybe a little lower than last year. And last year was pretty low. So
Norman was really low this weekend.
Yeah.
super low, probably the lowest I ever seen it.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be similar to last year, and hopefully the bite's a little better than it was last year. Maybe the rain and clouds will get them fired up. So we can always hope.
But that, man, we were miserable last year. That Friday night, that wind set in. We were at Hibernia, camping on the point there at Hibernia,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my 10 by 10 4-leg tent set up. We had truck bed tents. There were two of us in truck bed tents, and had the tent in between the two trucks. And the wind blew, all night long. And we heard something, and I jumped up and got out of the tent, got out of my truck bed tent, and my canopy tent was about 30 yards away in the middle of like the cul-de-sac area of the campground. And then Saturday morning we got up, and we had beached our boats, and the wind was blowing right down the main channel up against that point. My hull was 100% full of water. It took about 4 grown men to lift it so that we could just get it to drain out. So
Yeah.
not
remember
going to
that
happen
story.
this year, it looks like. So
Are you going down to camp?
yeah, I'm headed out. I'm headed up that way about 9 in the morning, and we'll be there till Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of guys camp up there, and I'm sure Vance County appreciates that. So, they've been pretty good supporters of us for the last, I don't know, was it 4 years? I don't know if they did the first year, but I think this will be the 4th year that they've helped us out. And super nice about it. Always accommodating whatever we ask for, which is cool. So,
Jason Hensley posted that Kerr is at 297.9, so it's just over, there it is, 2 feet down.
yep. Okay. There you go. It'd be interesting. I'm thinking the rain might help.
Yeah, the fish hadn't seen rain in a while.
And I'll take all the help I can get.
Yeah, we were gonna fish it, and we caught COVID weekend of the caching thing, and I ended up having to burn all my vacation days. So me and Ashley and my daughter are gonna ride down. We're gonna hang out with you guys. It's about a 3-hour ride for us. So come see you, good-looking men.
There you go.
And
Sexiest anglers on the planet. That's how we work.
I woke up this morning and I was washing my face, and I pulled something in my neck washing my face. So
You're not that old yet, man. Come on.
well, I feel it, man.
I have a heavy washcloth. It was the cold snap. It was that little bit of a cold streak we had, and your muscles were tight.
Probably so. Yeah, had to be
Stretched before you wash your face. Huh?
ruined my day. Needless to say, I can't look to the left. So
You
But
won't say you're getting old.
we'll
I
be
don't know
there.
who that person is. Said he's getting old.
Oh man. So you gonna have any time to pre-fish, Joe? Or are you just winging it?
I'm gonna wing it. I've done enough, map study online and on my phone, and try to figure out some different spots. And I think I found every launch that's available on a map. That's kind of my thing when it comes to something that big. Like, unless you live close to that lake, I think you're really not going to figure too much out. So I figured just winging it would be just as good if I went down there a couple days in advance. So
Yeah. I'm not gonna have time to practice, unfortunately.
yeah,
It's probably a good thing. I'll leave them there. I won't sore mouth anything.
that's right. Now, it will be interesting for me. I mean, it's just far enough south from what I'm used to that, it's still the same region, but it's going to be a little bit different of climate. So I'm looking forward to it, because I'm hoping that's just a little bit warmer than what we've got up here as far as our Bass Lakes.
Yeah. Has anyone got a water temp at the lake? I know they're probably in the high 60s around here at the moment.
Yeah, it was 70s, low 70s at Norman this past weekend.
Wow. Okay.
I just found a graph that's showing it around 72,
Yeah, that sounds right.
71 to 72 and that one is today, October 11th was
Okay,
72 degrees.
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, little bit warmer than what we've got up here already. We're about mid to high 60s. We're not breaking 70s anymore.
Interesting. As far as off ramp, the ramps being off limits, I don't think there are any. As long as it's a public access point, you can go for it. Yeah. So I don't think we've ever had any off limits areas. We do have I think there was a limit to how far up one of the creeks you could go, or a couple of the creeks. That should be in the rules somewhere there. Let's see. Yeah, western boundary on the Dan River is the 360 bridge. So as long as the ramp's not past that, and the northern boundary is the Staunton River is a 360 bridge too. So same deal. Eastern boundary is Kerr Dam, so you're not going to do anything there. And yeah, all public launches available. Go for it.
What's the sign up count right now? 20?
22, I think. 23 right now. Yeah. So we've got a couple days left. Hopefully people stack on. I've been pushing some stuff out there trying to get people excited.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I think the money will warm me right up and make me forget about the wet,
30 men, $1,500. That's pretty good.
Yeah. We got pretty good payouts just to set up for it. So I think it's worth it. I don't know if Casey Reed's going to show up to this one or not. I'm not sure if he's down pre-fishing for the championship this weekend or not. But, he usually shows up to this one. He likes this lake.
Corey, coming, talk to him.
What's his name? Trying to look at who's signed up.
I know several of our guys.
Wheels in there.
We're kayak fishermen, right? We sign up.
We sign up Friday at 10 o'clock. Yeah, they wait till the directors go to bed upset and then they sign up.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
They don't understand how the math would work better if they would sign up early, because then everyone gets excited. There's more people, and then more people would sign up. So you
everybody follows suit. Yeah, they're like, oh, we're gonna have good payouts, and then they sign up.
See what you do, Eric, is you add like all your friends, and then like before you go to bed that night,
you just take them out.
I figured that out. You just add a bunch of people.
I always find it interesting when guys do that. Like it's like they sandbag the entries.
Yeah.
I personally don't want to intimidate anybody, so I wait to sign up late, so I don't scare other people off.
And playing mind games with you.
Yeah. Like, wait, there was 12 yesterday. I'm guilty.
Now, of course, if Casey, signs up at the last minute, and you're like, oh shit, here we go.
Well, we fished. Our last regular event was at Hyco, and close to the Virginia border, and Casey came down and fished it. And a lot of guys were like, oh, Casey's fishing, and he didn't place in the money.
Yeah.
It just goes to show, no matter who you're fishing against, everybody can have a bad day, and anybody can have a good day.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Now if you compare us to Casey across the entire year, right? The law of averages, Casey's going to end up better than us, but he's going to have more good days than bad, probably.
That's
if you want to sabotage, what I learned at Cashin is if you want to sabotage Casey, we just need to create some kind of shaky head shortage.
Yeah.
We can hide all those soft plastics for shaky heads. I believe we can take them.
Yeah.
Crap, I can't remember what I was going to say. Early launch before lines in.
There is no early launch before lines in. It's launch and lines in same time. So it provides you an extra half hour of fishing, but we did have an issue with that in the past, and we don't want to do that again. So
yeah, it's easier to police it. And
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming stick pretty close to your launch point until lunchtime, right? Like you can be on the water floating, but
Yep.
be within 50 yards of your ramp or whatever. Get out of other people's way, but don't give someone else any ammunition to say that you had left early. So
Yep, absolutely.
I guess this lake's got the big fish too, like you guys are used to catching down there.
Yeah, there was a lot of stories. I missed ones last year. I think Casey dropped a couple of big ones. He told me. There's a few other guys that had some big ones on that got off last year, which let me sneak in and take the money. But
nobody's ever lost a fish that was under 5 pounds.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
I lost a 5-pounder here. I lost an 8-pounder over here. Jeremy said 13 pounds won a tournament last week. So
really, geez. Oops, not that one. Yep, you're late, Steven.
did he just get here?
This and just so you guys know, this isn't the captain's meeting. We just wanted to get together and talk about the event and have a little chat. So we will have an official tournament captain's meeting tomorrow night. So, which I'll just go over basic stuff. It's not, everyone here that fishes this, I think, already knows all the rules, but I'll go over some of them tomorrow.
Well, Jeremy, is that 13 pounds with 3 fish?
Yeah, right.
Be interesting to see if that was the case. Like Hickory had a 9-pound winner this past weekend, and Norman had, I think, a 13 and some change, but those are all five fish limits.
Yeah, the 5 fish limit for 13. I'll tell you what, that last year, because my buddy actually fished the ABA event, and they struggled big time too. So everyone was having a hard time. And my buddy, he's lived here, I think 10 years before I moved down here. So when I moved down here, I was asking him for information like all the time about, how to fish down here.
Yeah.
And he texted me after that event. He was like, "What were you doing?" So it was kind of cool to see the switch from when I started fishing, bugging him all the time, to him, hitting me up, asking what the heck was going on. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, those guys all struggled too. I don't think they had a much of a bag on their event. I think we would have been pretty competitive with those guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There was like 200 boats or something stupid.
Kind of a weird transition right now. So
yeah. I know they were a little tough over at McIntosh a couple weeks ago. So big ones seem to be a little more elusive right now.
Yeah. Let's find the bait.
That's it. Uh-oh. Sounds like you're 20 minutes behind. Yeah, it's part of the game. You got to make a decision just like any other boat club. If you're going to, you want to make that run, that's where your spot is. You got to sacrifice that time for the better spot. So
this lake, does it have residents on it? I mean, is it?
Yeah, there's docks and
stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe they're all like floating docks too, right? You're on mute.
Yeah, and it's weird. You'll get into one area, and it's just bank, right? Just natural bank area, and then another section of the lake will be so crowded with boat docks you can't even get to the bank. It's just funny how some of it's really, really developed and some of it's just wide open.
Yeah.
Oops. That's what I wanted. These guys are talking before.
The thing I did hate about it, especially the first time I went, I really targeted docks, and I was not used to docks set up quite the way they are at Kerr, with basically 45 degrees off of each dock. There's a cable going back to the shore.
Yeah.
So all the docks are tied, and I'm used to there being cables. I just wasn't used to them fanning out quite as wide as these did. Like, it was really, if you can't skip, it was really tough to fish the other side of those those cables, and I can't skip, so I knew that's where all the fish were.
Yep. Yeah, I like the docks that have that are solid. These are floating,
Yeah.
so that makes it a little more challenging.
Yeah.
There are occasions when the fish are actually suspended and they can be up under them and you can do all right, but with the sun not being out, if it's going to rain, I'd
Yeah,
avoid them.
They'll not.
That's just my opinion. I mean, everyone can do what they want, but I'd avoid a dock on Saturday. Well, there might be one sitting on. Who knows? It's probably where the big ones are. It's probably why I never catch them, because I don't fish the floating docks.
Yeah, that was when we came to Harris with you guys, Eric. That it's different fishing down. Jordan's kind of the same. Not a whole lot of, if there's any docks on Jordan. I don't know.
No.
There's
Yeah.
not. That's why I go crazy when I get to like a Baden or Tillery,
Yeah.
right? Because I've spent my whole life watching these guys fish docks on TV, and no, none of the lakes around here have them. Now we keep hearing rumors that eventually there will be docks on Harris, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, Duke would make a killing if they would allow that land to be developed, right? Just imagine how much they could sell that land off for.
It'd be huge. Be huge. Yeah, that is weird. It took me a while to get used to that too, fishing these lakes here, because it is odd that there's no docks. Falls, Jordan, and Raleigh, not Raleigh, Harris, Lake Wheeler. There's a few of them. And yeah, no docks.
And if they kill the hydrilla, then you end up lost like me.
Yep.
I don't think I've caught a single fish on Harris since they killed the grass.
Yeah. There's an event at Gaston in a couple of weeks too that Jeremy's putting together. If you guys down east, kayak anglers, and those are the permanent docks, and they hold fish for sure.
Gaston, is that a big lake? I mean,
Gaston, yeah, it's a good sized lake. Yeah,
heard good things about it.
And it's downstream of Kerr, so the water comes out of Kerr or Bugs Island, and then goes a short way, and then it's Gaston. So.
Yeah.
What do they call our lake? Is it like, we got the Yadkin and we got the Catawba? Is it its own chain? Does it have a name, or
that's the Roanoke, isn't it? The system
comes down from the north.
I don't know what flows into it.
I'm looking at the.
I'm terrible with the rivers and stuff around here. I never know.
Let's see, you've got Staunton River coming in kind of from the north. You've got Dan River coming in from the west.
Right.
Kind of looks like it used to be the confluence of those two rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was dammed up.
Sounds about right. Something like that. Yep. And then
And then when it comes out of Gaston, it goes into Roanoke Rapids and then Roanoke River. So.
Right. Yeah.
Goes west, kind of.
It's an interesting system. It's one of the only ones that I think in North Carolina that'll hold the stripers good.
Yeah.
So I know most of the lakes in North Carolina get too warm, so the striped bass don't do very well. So we tried stocking. I guess the hybrids do well on these other lakes, but
I think Casey just figured out we were trying to hide all the shaky heads.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's in the rules.
His ears were itching.
No shaking.
I didn't know that he'd have time to chat with us. He looked like he was pretty busy doing Bass University videos.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. His ears were ringing. He knew what was up. Hopefully Casey's going to make it. I always have a good time when Casey's around, for sure. Let me add another stud to the conversation here.
Here's the little bird who was talking to Casey.
There it is.
I was sitting here. I was listening to you guys. I was having so much fun. I was like, oh man, let me just tell Casey we're on talking about him because he's such a big part of the history of this event. That I was like, oh man, we got to get him in here. And there he is.
Cool. Good deal. I didn't badmouth you too much, Casey. So you'll have to come back and rewatch the whole thing. I did ask Hank to hop on here because he's like Hank the historian. So he's always done a really good job at keeping track of all the information as far as this event, CKA, even CCKF. He follows everything and keeps a good record of it all. So I'll give you the floor, Mr. Hank, and let you let's go over the last winners of this event.
Yeah, let's do that. I dug up the numbers. First, let me just say this. What's up, Joe? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Henry? Good to see you, man.
You too, man. When did I see you? It was at the Potomac earlier this year, right?
Yeah, I was at the KBF Potomac event earlier.
Oh, look. Oh, actually, I got my hat on that I got up in Maryland when I came through later in the year.
That's the snakehead hat from Anglers, right?
Yep, from that tackle shop. I found this amazing tackle shop in where was it? What's the state capital again? Annapolis?
Yeah, Annapolis, Maryland. Yep.
Yeah, we hit traffic on 95 going on vacation. I cut through Annapolis, and D was like, "Oh, I need to make a pit stop." And like, ray of light hits the tackle shop sign. That tackle shop is amazing. It's a really good tackle shop. Like one of the better ones I've been in. I picked up this snakehead hat and I texted it to Joe. I'm going to wear it on Saturday. I know there aren't any snakehead in Carr Lake, but with the multi-species side pot, hopefully it'll bring me some luck.
There you go. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So I was texting Casey and just going over the history of the event. You guys were talking earlier about big fish. Eric, what was your winning limit last year?
It's only 83 1/4, I think.
So actually, the biggest limit caught at this event since 2019 was when Nathan Green won it in 2020. He had an 84 and a half inches.
Wow, that's it, really.
Yeah, and I was actually kind of surprised. I went through every year. Jason Hensley won it with 79 and a half inches.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that lake,
all right.
yeah, if you find a couple of big fish, you're in pretty good shape at that lake. It's a weird lake because I was telling Joe the other day, you've got the stripers in there, you've got those huge catfish that are just enormous. Like that lake is a catfish giant factory. And then you've got all these other species that none of us are used to catching. I don't know if you have these up by you, Joe, but we don't have walleye and drum in our local lakes.
No.
And Carr Lake's got a lot of freshwater drum in it. And Sammy Wilson caught a damn walleye in there a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
So-
walleye we can find up here in several of our lakes, but no
Can
drum. We don't have the freshwater drum like
Yeah.
that seems to be in this lake.
And I love catching freshwater drum. I remember I lived in Western Pennsylvania for years, and I used to catch them there on spinner baits. They would crush spinner baits, and if you hooked up with one, if they hit it right and got the hook, they're a lot of fun. But when you hook one in a bass tournament, you think you've got a game changer, and then because they feel like bass, they actually swim like bass. They're one of the few fish that tricks me into thinking it's a bass. But they don't jump. They don't, fly like bass do. And then you got the smallmouth in there. And Wayne Butler caught a nice smallie last year up in the north end of the lake. So it's a diverse fishery. And in my experience, I've caught spots and largemouths. But the one time that I got in the money there, I did get into some largemouths. That was the first year we had the event, and Tim Sabella from South Carolina won it with 82 1/4 inches that year.
Nice. Okay.
Oh yeah, look at Will. Yeah, there you go. Eric, did you talk about that, about the Big Bass sign up?
Yeah, if you haven't signed up for the Big Bass yet, I know some people didn't know, didn't see the extra ticket to sign up for that. So if you didn't and you want to get that and you already got a regular ticket, just go to the tournament dashboard, and then head over to where it says tickets, and then there's a little link in there that'll show you where the tickets are. Here, I'll bring it up.
No.
Doing $10 on it, just like normal.
This one's 25
Well,
because we'll have that split pot.
yeah.
Right up here, you see tournament dashboard. And then you can see tickets up at the top here. And then down here it says get more tickets.
Huh.
So if you haven't bought the Big Bass yet, just go down to get more tickets and add that in there.
That's to get it after the fact, right? Like when I looked at it, I could see both.
Yeah, when I looked, when I was signing up, this wasn't expanded. So all it did was when I hit next, it just gave me the regular ticket. So I ended up having to go back into that, like what I just did, and get the Big Bass ticket added.
That did that to me too, and that's why I asked you about it today. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm going to go back in and sign up for Big Bass. I think last year Peter Ely won it, if I recall. Or did you?
I don't even know where that is in here.
Anyway, I want to say Peter won it last year with like a 19 or something like that. He caught a decent fish.
Yeah.
But anyway, the history of this event, man, let me just say, because I had so much fun listening to you guys talk when you were, especially when you were like riffing on Casey and talking about when he shows up. I was like, man, this is exactly what we were all hoping for when we started this event. Eric, remember, Eric and I went up and fished with Casey's old trail, the VKBC, in 2018 or something. And we were like, you know something, we got to get these two clubs together and have like a friendly Virginia, North Carolina rivalry. And there was a big turnout there. We had separate leaderboards. Do you remember that, Eric? There was a CKA leaderboard and a VKBC leaderboard. And then we had to merge them and figure out who was in the money.
Yeah.
So
it was a nightmare. It was fun.
It was a nightmare. But we had a great time and everyone was hanging out. And like I said, that was the event that Tim won. And man, the vibe was good. So we just thought, let's keep doing it. But then Mitch's club showed up, right? And we invited him to be a part of it.
Yep.
And then I started reaching out to the other Virginia clubs and saying, hey, come down, let's do this, make it a thing. And then when I saw Joe this year up at the KBF event, I'd been following his Virginia Kayak Anglers Elite thing, because Jody Queen and I have been talking about going snakehead fishing up there for years. And I've been watching his leaderboards, and man, I don't know about throwing a frog on that lake. Right, Garrett? Let's hope he throws it. So we just listening to you guys on here, and I wish Robert was on here, or one of the VKT guys. Right, Will, that was a points event when we first did it. So yeah, man, I'm just happy that the event has hit its 5th year. We got a great lineup, and the sponsors came out in force for this one, and we just got some good prizes, and the prize money is outstanding, even with, you know, weather depressing the registration. It looks like whoever wins this is going to go home with a really good payday. And that's what we've been trying to do the whole time. This is just, it's a non-points event. It's a celebration of the friendship between our two states. And we expanded it this year with Joe. So having that non-bass side pot is going to make things really interesting, because every single year somebody catches a weird fish or a big fish, and it's like what Mitch does with his club. He puts out, what do you call it, Mitch? The
Wild card.
wild card. Yeah, the wild card. And there's an extra prize for that non-bass species in his events, which is always cool to see because somebody always catches a big catfish or a bowfin or a gar. And with Joe's club specializing in non-bass species, we thought let's invite them down. So I was really happy that VKAE decided to join up and sponsor that prize, because why not? I'm personally, if I lived up by Joe, I'd be in his club hands down, because I love catching non-bass species. I don't do it as much as I used to because I don't have the competitive incentive, but I love that stuff.
Right. Yeah, you always crack me. Every time I catch a bowfin down here, I get mad, and then I start laughing because I know Henry would be all freaked out and excited about it.
Oh yeah.
I've lost several frogs and several spinnerbaits to both.
Mhm.
So just mangled. I mean, I got them back. They were just mangled beyond use.
Yeah, it was like a
Cody-
pretzel. And get it back.
Cody, you're a fly fisherman, aren't you?
Well, we fish trout. I don't really mess with the fly rod.
No,
But yeah, we
but you do go trout fishing.
Oh yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen you post about that. We need to get together and do that. I used to do that a whole lot up in the Virginia mountains, up by what's that area north of Sparta? The Jefferson Forest up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to trout fish up there a lot. Peter, I saw that. What did he say again?
So I don't know if you guys know, Peter has a new job out of state.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I believe it's Alabama.
Yep.
And he's having to travel down there and stay in Alabama for quite a few weeks at a time. And
Yeah.
he missed our Clash of the Titans because of it. And he said he came home. I think he was born and raised up around Henderson.
Yep.
So this is like a homecoming for him to go and fish this event.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I'm glad to have Peter, and he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's all right.
What did he get last year? Third place? I think he got third place in the event.
He may have. I had a hard time trying to find, for some reason, I couldn't find last year's event on Turning X. But not Turning X, Fishing Chaos.
I fished with him up there. We fished near each other for a while the year before last, I believe. Had a good time.
Yeah, he said he got third.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he had a good showing there. I was hoping he would give me some tips about that lake. That lake, Joe, have you ever been down there?
No, I haven't fished that lake.
Cody, you haven't either.
No.
Man, I was telling somebody about it the other day. Like the first time I went there, I didn't know what to do. It was just so huge. It's vast. So I remember being on the water and thinking, okay, Rick Clunn used to say, take a big lake and make it into smaller lakes.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. But I didn't realize that I was fishing about a quarter mile behind Tim Sabella, who won the event. So as I was working up, I eventually got to him and I was like, oh man, this guy's been doing what I'm doing, but ahead of me. And he cleaned out the spots.
What
It's that kind of lake. Like you just got to look for the spot that you like to fish, the area you like to fish, docks or open water. Like I'm sure there are huge schools of giant smallies up on the north end, just out on those flats somewhere. For the guy who likes to fish that style, you just launch out of Clarksville and find a big school and crush them.
Yep.
pretty deep body of water. I mean,
Yeah.
I know some of the like Jordan and Harris anyway. We went there and it was, it was deep, but it was not as deep as I thought it might be.
Oh, it's not deep like the mountain lakes. No, like Harris is about 30 feet, 30 to 35 feet at the deepest.
Mm-hmm.
Carr Lake is deep. If I recall, Joey Sullivan was fishing somewhere around Henderson Point that first event, and he caught a bass out of like 70 feet of water.
Jeez.
How do you do that?
And he caught like a 40-pound catfish that day too.
Jeez.
That lake,
he's fishing deep.
man, I love that lake. It's just full of surprises.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, every time I go there, it seems that something else weird happens. So last year was like the fish that I was normally seeing every time I went there were just gone. It was like ghost town, and it was weird. I ended up finding just enough. I got 5 bites, and that was it. And I struggled for every one of those dang bites. I was like, what the heck? But I think they were all on something different too. I go one off a tree, one shallow with a chatterbait. I don't think that was the only one I got on a chatterbait. And one was on a point. They were just, it was weird.
Yeah.
Weird. No pattern.
It's a funny place like that, man.
Yep. Yeah, he zigzagged around that whole cove. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, are you guys still camping this weekend?
Yeah.
I've camped there, but in this weird, and I haven't looked into it because I'm not going to be able to. That's right. Top 3 home for NC. That's right, Will. Should we even bother showing up fishing against this guy? It's,
Well, which guy? Who?
Lambert.
Lambert. Yeah, this year, someone needs to take a drill to his boat or something. And find out where he's camping.
We need it. He's at Nutbush.
Yeah, that's right. You put his site number on.
Yeah,
there.
he posted it up here a little while. I got a Craftsman, 18-volt Craftsman. I'll bring it.
Yeah, at least slow him down just to like a little 16 drill bit, just enough so he has to bail out once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. He's at camp. I know where he is. You can go put him.
Yep.
Will's been on fire, man. It's awesome. He's fished really well.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how he does at this event.
What you got to do, you want to sabotage somebody, just bird's nest all of their bait casters.
Right.
There you go.
Maybe rub some Vaseline on the front of the live scope transducer or something.
Yeah.
Just loosen up all the brakes on the bait caster so when it casts it just.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, loosen all the drag on all their reels.
I'm gonna be checking mine every time I go out now.
You guys are.
So I was going to look into. Eric and I did this one year. I got I didn't realize this, but my work owns a huge piece of land that allows camping up there, but I haven't looked into it because I can't go up and camp this year. I'm going to drive up like I did at Mitch's event last week. I'll drive up a little later in the morning. I'll fish a half day for this, just have fun, see how it goes. How many of you guys are camping up there on Friday?
Just Mitch.
It's a few. I was thinking about it. I mean, if there's
In our
there's an empty-
campground, I think there's potentially 9 of us
Mhm.
in Hibernia. That's just the CCKF guys. And I know Will and Garrett are staying at Nutbush. I'm assuming there's some more other places. So I'm glad Jason posted that because I'm supposed to go online and buy tickets.
Oh.
I'd almost forgotten. I'm with you, Jason. If I were to win it, I would be a full-time hunter and fisherman, and I'd probably just team up with Carolina All Out and have my own TV show, and I would just fund everything myself, so nobody could tell me, no sponsors telling me what to do.
We could start the kayak elite series and buy us all some satellite satellite equipment and
Yeah.
Mhm.
We streaming live.
yeah, man.
Heck yeah.
Cody, where are you coming down? Friday or Saturday?
We're coming. We're not gonna fish. COVID kind of screwed me over, so
Oh,
I lost all my vacation days. But we're coming.
uh-huh.
We're bringing my daughter and Ash, so it'll be a family affair for us. We're gonna come
Well,
and hang out with you guys.
I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, I am.
That's good.
Told these
That's
guys
good.
this morning I was washing my face this morning and somehow pulled a muscle in my neck. So
Oh,
washing my face, I was so pissed this morning.
Yeah, speaking of health stuff, Robert Brown from VKT isn't here because he's hanging with mom and trying to take care of her.
yeah.
Apparently she's got a little bit of a health issue. He's got to help her get through. So prayers for that for them, and we hope that all goes well and we get to see Robert back in full swing. So,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Definitely thinking about you, Robert, and your mom. Yep.
So Joe, your series, you run multiple species on each event, right?
So that was the goal. Like I said, we're a first year club, and we had an idea of running a couple different series of species. And what happened was the snakehead series was just so popular. That's really what drove a lot of the club interest.
Yeah.
The only other idea we have lingering right now is a kind of a winter crappie or a winter panfish series,
Yeah.
which is tough to kind of get into the business of because there's already so many crappie clubs out there.
Mhm.
And another difficulty with panfish is that you get a lot of the same size fish. So when you do a catch photo release,
Yeah.
you're going to have everybody's going to have the same score. So
Yeah.
we're still trying to figure that out. But what it turned out to be was, we had an idea of having multiple species, maybe even kind of like a tidal Potomac River slam type thing where you catch a catfish, a gar, and a snakehead or something to that effect.
Mhm.
And we didn't really get a lot of interest with it. Everybody just wanted to do snakehead tournaments. So we ended up being, we didn't really want to be a snakehead club, but we ended up being a snakehead club in the end.
I guess.
And,
Probably come up with a pretty cool logo for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, so that's the kind of the cool thing about snakehead is that it's such a kind of a cult following, and there's so many cool things you can do with it that we've got some ideas moving forward to make it even cooler than what the first year was. But to break out as a 50 member club right out the gate,
Yeah, that's good,
pretty
man.
exciting.
yeah, it's awesome.
Man,
Those are great numbers.
Yeah.
I
that's
caught some
amazing.
good snakeheads over at that Potomac when we were at that bass tournament. So KBF, the 4th place one over there.
I was so mad. I wanted to catch one so bad, and I just couldn't hook up with one.
Yeah, I got a couple of them that got me excited for a minute. I was just like, no.
You guys remember when those fish turned up in Maryland and everyone went crazy and it was the end of the world? And now it's like, look, I got a hat.
They've embraced the snakehead.
Yeah.
Man, they are fun to catch.
They are. And if you're a bass angler, obviously there's kind of, there's a line that gets drawn between your bass angler guys. Well, there's so many snakehead angling community now that, they catch bass and they think that's a nuisance. It's almost the polar opposite of what we would think. So, yeah. They greenfish are a pain in the ass. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of bait companies just coming out of the woodworks with snakehead lures that are just beefed up, kind of like probably like a pike or a musky lure. It's still bass tackle, but it's just a little bit beefed up a little bit because it just gets destroyed after they get a hold of it.
That's crazy. When I went into this tackle shop, they had starter kits, like little tackle trays. And they had starter kits for all the major sport fish species that they catered to. So a lot of saltwater stuff, and then they had stripers and snakehead and largemouth bass, like starter kits for catching them. And I was like looking at what they had in there. Yeah, Garrett, there's smallies up near Clarksville. Wayne Butler caught one last year, and Brian Falby says that he used to get into them when he fished the old BFL circuit up there.
What's a good snakehead? 26 inches or something?
A good snakehead. So if you talk to any snakehead anglers, what they call a dragon size snakehead, which would be kind of like a toad or a lunker,
Nice.
Yeah.
is 30 inches or better,
Wow.
or 10 pounds or better. So that's your dragon size snakehead.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody's trying to go after. Your average snakehead is between 26 and 28 inches, which is already about a 6 to 7 pound fish.
Yeah.
And catching that on bass tackle 4 or 5 times a day, you know,
man,
reels don't last very long. Tackle don't last very long. Yeah, it's a good time. And then what I always tell guys is that the thing with snakehead, especially because I'm a bass angler and I've fished inshore and I do a lot of other stuff, what's intriguing about snakehead fishing is it's very visual, because it's a lot of top water, shallow water stuff, which is what really kind of draws everybody into it, because it's so addictive to get into that top water. You see the wake coming after your bait thing. I mean, you can't help but love it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Aggressive
man.
fish.
I thought it was a giant one of them, because I was fishing lily pads in the Potomac, and it was I think it was a chatterbait or something, and I just saw the lily pads all start moving all of a sudden. I was like, oh, here we go, and then bam, and I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
They wake you up.
What's another interesting thing is in the club is, and I really didn't realize this was going to happen, was, so we do a bass side pot in our snakehead tournaments, and
That's funny.
we actually have more anglers put in for the bass side pot than the largest snakehead side pot. So we always have more, because guys know they're going to catch big bass, and because you're throwing big lures, you're throwing big frogs, big chatterbaits, and whenever they do hook up with a largemouth, it's a big one, especially in the Potomac. Well, Potomac bass are usually short and fat, so it's a big fish. But so yeah, we usually have a larger largemouth bass side pot than we do a snakehead side pot.
Wow,
Amazing.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's just amazing, man. Are any of your guys coming down?
I think myself and 2 others, and it's probably not just my club. Like I said, NVKBA, which is our bass community up here, we're all half of my club is part of that club.
Yep.
And so it's kind of both of the same. So there's about 3 of us, I think, that I know of. There's probably more.
I got a message from Mike Ortega, who I've known for a long time, and he's expressed interest in this event on the Battle on the Border, and wants to be more involved in the years ahead, and I hope he will be, because NVKBA is really a well-run, well-organized, long-running club. He's done a great job, and his other directors have done a great job there over the years. I just have learned so much from Mitch and Cody and you, and guys like Casey, who've been around for a while. Just seeing how everyone does their work differently. We all have baseline standards, and then you just do your thing. So, man, it's such a good learning experience for all of us to be involved in these discussions. I get such a kick out of it. I know it's like a kind of fishing geek kind of thing to be, but I hope other people feel the same way. This Battle on the Border has really brought a lot of different people together from the 2 states. And even beyond that, like I said, Tim he was from South Carolina when he came up and won it first time. So the more the merrier. That's the way I see it with this sport,
Yeah.
Tim fished with us this past weekend. Again.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's good. He's a really good fisherman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around for a while too.
Nice. And we got The trophy, you get do you have the trophy with you, Hank, or is it out in the?
It's sorry, it's out in storage.
It's not quite the same as this one, but it's similar.
Oh yeah,
So it was
Yep.
It's cool,
Yep.
man.
it's
a nice
that
deal from
plaque.
last year.
And we dedicated that last year to Charles Cruz, who fished
Right.
in the Virginia clubs, but then came down and fished with CKA for a year. You can see his name on the bottom. Yep. He died tragically two years ago up in Virginia, and we dedicated that trophy to his memory. Because he was, he represented that kind of guy who crosses the border and goes back and forth. He was also in one of the KFL teams from Virginia, I think, at that time. Yeah, so we have that. That's the first place trophy, but the plaque is different at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know if you guys saw that post, but KBF had sent us 15 gift cards for Fish USA. So
Sweet.
That's
a
awesome.
lot of giveaways to give away. So then we'll qualify 25% will go to get qualified for the national championship too. So
Occasionally pop into that Fish USA site. You get, if you're a KBF member, you get the automatic discount. But sometimes I find some really good stuff. I got lucky. I got a Carver cover on there once for like $40. I couldn't believe it. It was in the sales section, and it just happened to fit the one old rig that I had. That's a good shop. I'd like to go to the actual store, but the online store is pretty good, man.
yeah, and they cover everything. If you sign up for their email, you'll see they'll be sending walleye deals in this deal, and every day like a new deal, species, whatever. I'm sure they probably have plenty of snakehead stuff.
I want to say,
Well, they've got that. What they do is that kayak fishing section too, which I like to see, and I wish more retailers had a kayak fishing specific sort of area of their website. Some do, some don't, but they do. They've embraced the sport. They realize that we're a huge community, and there's a lot of earning potential out there for these retailers who recognize us and cater.
Yeah, for sure. Cool deal.
you got the captain's meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be a brief captain's meeting just to go over the rules specific for the event and safety stuff like PFDs and make sure everyone's on the same page as far as that goes. If anyone has questions on the rules, they can hit us up during that. It's always good to hit us up with questions then, because that also probably answers the same question for somebody else. So
Hey,
definitely show
Eric,
up.
what time is the meeting tomorrow?
Be 8 o'clock again.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully I can, if I can get on there with you, I will. Just ask you a favor and just put this out there for everybody. When you go to Henderson Point at the end of the event to go to the check-in, there's like that weird split in the road, and then you make two lefts after you go in. You don't go straight to Henderson Point. You make a left, and then you make another left to get to that big building that they give us. We have a really great setup with Vance County for this event, where they've just given us this use of this huge parking lot and facility for the check-in. It's beautiful. That's right, Ashley. Yep. So if you can map that out for people, because last year I stayed there on the road and I was doing like traffic,
This way.
Yeah, I'll bring it
traffic
up on the
guard
map.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, there's like two ramps there, right? And it's the top ramp. The far north ramp is basically the parking lot. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's a pretty good sized building too. So, and if anyone wants to show up early and cook, they got a big full kitchen there too. I'm not going to cook, so.
Well, Joe and I are Italian, so we got that covered.
There you go. There you go.
I'll bring the olive oil.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
Whatever.
Are you doing any type of? Is there snacks or anything, drinks?
No, we looked at it like last year. I was looking for places, and there's like even the guy from Vance was like he couldn't even give me a place like to get some food and pizza or something that wasn't like a half hour away. So
Yeah.
it's in a spot that's tough, and keeping food in the truck all day while you're fishing is not a good thing usually. So yeah.
I will say this, man. If you guys haven't been to that little town, Clarksville, it's a funky little town. Like I love just going there and like going to, antique stores and shopping little shops they got there. It's not much for food, but it's not that far away from where we're going to be, 25-minute drive. But that's over the border in Virginia.
What time's the last train?
There you go. Someone asked about something.
That's the other Clarksville, Mitch.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm probably going to sleep in my bed because it's only an hour away, but I'm thinking of going. I might head up there and camp overnight just for the fun of it and to test this out. I did do all this work on this truck bed camping insanity that I've been working on.
When I had-
before I go.
When I had mine, it was really convenient, the camper shell deal, because you could just shut the back window. Like if your boat was on the trailer, you could just shut the back window and go. There's no tearing down a tent, none of that. The problem I had was several times in the middle of the night, my head met the roof of the camper shell. I just got tired of it, and
yeah, I got the high shell.
I don't even have that truck anymore, and the camper shell I had wouldn't fit the new truck. So.
Yeah, I got that high shell just so I could make sure I could sit up, because I do plan on working out of it too. So I wanted to make sure I could set it up where I could work off laptop.
It was a little hard to change clothes in there when you're like all hunched over.
Yeah.
You can't even lift your butt up off the mattress to get your pants pulled up.
It's going to be interesting. I was just tired of sleeping in the tent with getting up off the floor. Even with a air mattress, it's like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. It's good seeing you guys. I'm going to get running here. And I'll see you guys on, oh yeah, that is a good tackle shop, Will. I'll see you guys on Saturday at the check-in for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you guys for coming on. I hope everyone's got a little more information about what this event is about. And some clubs now, if you're away from your home turf and you want to go do some fishing, now some clubs you can hit up and go do that. So
yeah, or just come out and fish, have fun.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be in a club. Yep.
Yep, this is an open event. It is open for everybody, so anybody can join.
Yep.
All right. Well, see you guys later. And
All right, guys.
Good seeing you.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having us. I'm going to put my cash-in hat on next.
There you go.
Yeah, we're going to get you one. Eric, hook him up.
Yeah, I will.
Bitch, you're closer.
See you guys.
See you.